The topic of habits is a topic which has gotten so much attention in the personal development space, and I think for a good reason. But while throughout the years a lot of different philosophies have arisen, for me personally, none of them truly worked. One popular idea is that of habit stacking. It's from James Clear in the book Atomic Habits, where you basically try to combine one behavior with the other, and then the idea is that you start to associate the one thing with the other and you do them together, which then results in a bigger habit. Maybe that's the ADHD in me, but it's also just the fact that it didn't work for me. After so many years of trying to establish habits in different areas of my life that last, I tried so many different approaches, but the one thing that really stood out to me as effective in the last years was this idea that I called for myself Habit Symbiosis. And today I want to talk to you about this framework that worked for me that might also work for you. But first, who am I? My name is Ismail. I'm a psychology and digital business graduate, and nowadays I work as a change and transformation consultant. But generally speaking, for me this channel is about reflecting on those concepts that help me and those around me and sharing those with other like-minded people. So what is habit symbiosis? For me, it's an approach where you try to establish a link between specific habits which reinforce each other in a natural way. So while habit stacking is about sequencing, so essentially doing behavior 1 and then doing behavior 2 and then doing 1 and 2 again and again in hopes where both of them occur at the same time. Habit symbiosis for me is less about doing one and both again and again at the same time so it sticks in your head, and it's more about finding synergy between 1 and 2 in a way where if you do 1 you want to do 2, and if you do 2 you want to do 1. Okay, but this is very theoretical thus far, so how does this specifically look in my life? The first example would be the first habit of working out, and then the second habit of eating healthy. So with the topic of working out, for example, if you want to have gains, if you want to gain muscle, if you want to lose fat, you can work out to burn calories and also to give the incentive to the muscles to build muscle, to rebuild themselves in a stronger way. Now obviously you also need resources, so you need to have the nutrients, you need to have sufficient calories but not too many, you need proteins, and for that you need to eat healthy. When I worked out in the past, I was not aware of how big of a role eating healthy and having the right resources played in building muscle and losing fat. So for me, the habit of working out stood on its own. It did not rely on eating healthy, it just did its own thing. On a similar note, the idea of eating healthy, I knew that it was good just for your overall health, but I did not know how much you can boost yourself if you just work out on top of this. Nowadays, I can go to the gym, I can also eat healthy, but this wasn't done in a way where I went to the gym and I ate healthy and I did this so often until it was synchronized. No, this whole thing started because I actively researched and I was actively aware of how much both sides benefited from each other. And nowadays, this is present to such an extent where if I work out and I don't eat healthy, I know internally that, hey, you might waste the workout. At the same time, if I have a day where I'm eating really healthy and I'm not quite in the mood to work out, the idea of, hey, I already ate healthy, I did half of the work, I can just go to the gym and then have the perfect day for my health is so enticing to me that I then end up going to the gym. In this example, I think you can see quite well that it is not only just super happy behavior, even though symbiosis has such a positive connotation, but it is meant in a way where if one of the habits is lacking, it is putting pressure on the other habit. And this also gives you motivation to prevent this from happening to the first habit. Another example for me is the habit of taking care of your body, of your skin, and the second habit of creating content and doing creative work. Now, I'll be honest, I don't like to put myself in front of the camera if I don't think that I look decent or if I don't smell nice, even though it has no direct effect with the camera because you guys cannot smell me, but it is something that is just reinforcing for myself. It makes the whole process just a lot more enjoyable. But the thing is, if I am working in the week, I work full-time, I study on the side, I try to do things for content creation, and this takes up so much time, and I'm fine with just being in the trenches, being at work. For me, this is also a fun process. But during those times, I don't focus too much on, for example, me looking all tidy when I'm just at my desk at home doing some creative work. But nowadays, since I started being on camera, I know that, okay, on Saturday or Sunday, you will film a video. And then if you put a video out, you want to look nice. So this already puts an incentive of, okay, you need to take care of your body, of your sleep, of your skin to such an extent that at the very least you look presentable on Saturday or Sunday. On the other side, if I take care of my body throughout the week, I feel more fit, I like to present myself, then it's also more likely that I will think, you know what, let me just record a video. Or let me go to that cafe, let me go to that busy bar, get some new impressions that might feed inspiration into the things that I'm writing on. A third example is, another thing that I like to do is to have a business meeting with a friend. And what we do is we catch up on the work that we did in the week and the one that we want to do in the upcoming week. Now for me, this is the habit of professional development and business meetings, but for you, you can also translate it to attending networking events or going to book clubs. And here again, if I know that a meeting is coming up, I will put in even more work to make sure that I can present things that I've worked on. On the other side, if I work on things on my own to a larger extent, I will be even more incentivized to meet up with a friend to get some feedback. What all those three examples showed that this isn't just about primitive associating and conditioning. This is about finding synergies between habits to make sure that they're way more likely to endure. This results in the energy that is produced by the one habit influencing the second habit. And this can be both positive or negative, but most often, whether it be positive or negative, it is a driving force. If it's negative, you don't want that to keep on being negative, so you tend to work on those things to prevent that. And if it's positive, it's more of inspiration that you can then share with the other habit, and this is then reinforcing each other. Now, how do you do this? For me, it is on the one hand researching about the first habit, because then you can see, for example, with working out, that one very essential part of it is eating healthy. A second approach that can be very effective is if you include some external aspect to the whole process. In the example of the book club or the networking event, what you end up doing is you sign up, and then there's this external aspect which puts on some expectations on you, which puts out reminders, and this already drives the certain energy to the habit or the actions that are linked to that specific meetup or event. You can also do this with an accountability partner. This is what I'm doing with my friend, and it's one of the best practices I have been doing and I am still doing because it's so rewarding for both of us. But for all of those approaches, the one thing that I can recommend is that at least one of the habits, it's something where you know, have I done it or not? It's pretty much a yes or no on having known whether the habit is taking place or not. In the example of the taking care of your body and your skin and the content creation, I, for example, don't know whether I have taken care of my body, because it could be that I could adjust my sleep even better. It could be that I use moisturizer, but that there's another treatment that I can do for under my eyes, for example, to make that even better for my body. But with the content creation aspect, I know, did I upload a video or did I finish a video or not? This is a yes or no question. Of course, there are different qualities to it, but in the end, it's a product of, is there a video that I'm able to publish or not? In the example with working out, it's, did I go to the gym or not? And with the example of the networking event or the book club, it's, did you go to the event or not? Once you have this habit where you know it's a yes or no habit, once you have done this habit once, it is the initial force that drives the energy from the first habit and puts the pressure or the inspiration to the second habit. And this starts the whole loop. Now, this whole topic of habits is immense, and I hope this has helped you, giving you some inspiration on an approach that might help you. If you want me to keep talking about the topic of habits or have another suggestion, feel free to let me know. Other than that, I also made videos on psychology, such as on social influence, and a video on university, which you can find here. And I thank you for the time that you took to watch this video up until this point. I thank you very much. I very much appreciate it. Feel free to leave a like. Bye bye.